So welcome to the final part of the Bonneville T120 Black series. It is all done. We are now going to jump on, go for a ride, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel about this entire project, the journey we took, all the mods we did, and the bike in general. So if you're interested in that, stick around. So here we are, once again out on the T120 Black. It's taken probably about 3 weeks to get all the parts together and fit them onto this bike. The hardest part, I've got to say, was probably doing the exhausts and getting it the way I wanted it. I'm kind of assuming you can hear that exhaust behind us. Let's just say it gets some looks as you go through the little villages and towns. I'm not sure if people actually appreciate it or whether they're just thinking, my God, what a dick with that exhaust. I'll just open this up ever so quickly to see if you can hear this. I'm not sure if it'll come out on camera. But yeah, it's loud. That is the Norman Hyde budget cans. We got sent out by Norman Hyde for a review kind of thing. I did pay something for them, but not full retail price, so thank you very much to Norman Hyde for that. As I said, this is their budget option. They're about 215, 220 quid, I think, for the chrome, and you pay just a little bit more for the flat black. And we did have to, well, I say we, I did have to spray the links and stuff like that black, just to match the exhaust, because I still don't quite understand why they would send out chrome links and clamps when you're buying a kind of matte black exhaust, but you know, it is what it is. We also fitted these lovely bar end mirrors. I'm hoping you can see that and the camera angle isn't all over the shot, but those are the bar end mirrors we fitted from Tech Bike Parts. So again, thank you so much to those guys for supporting this project. And we also fitted those lovely indicators down there. I mean, in a minute we're going to get off at my usual spot. We're going to take another little walk around the bike and I'll show you exactly what we've done. You probably do know by now if you've watched any of the other videos what's been going on, but we're going to get off and have one final look. Now everything is cleaned and looking pretty, shall we say. But suffice to say, it's taken about 3 weeks. Some things went really smoothly, some things not quite so much. But as I said, we'll jump off in a minute and I'll talk you through exactly what went on and any kind of difficulties I found with putting these parts on. But pretty much it was a piece of cake. Just before we do that, I wanted to kind of chime in and let you know my thoughts about all these mods and, you know, generally mods for the T120 or any bike really in that respect. I mean, is it worth doing? Should you do it? Should you spend all your money on these mods? Well, to be honest, it's subjective, because at the end of the day, it's your bike, and if you want to make it look a little bit different, then, you know, no one can tell you can't do that. What I would suggest is you look around to see if you can find one for the same price as maybe one that's standard, that's had some of these mods, because I mean, anybody buying this bike is probably getting close to £1,000 worth of mods. So then if you do that, then obviously you'll never really get that £1,000 back. We never get the money back on modifications to bikes, I'm sure we'll agree. In fact, a lot of people these days tend to take off their mods and sell them separately when they sell the bike. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to literally sell the bike as it is, because it was a project for me, but I'm not going to sell it cheap. I think it's too nice at the end of the day. Yes, it's done a few miles, but with everything that's been put onto this bike, I mean, just listen to this. To my mind, that sounds just about right. Not too much, not too little. I mean, when I first put the exhausts on, I was thinking to myself that they were a little bit over the top, shall we say, but I'm kind of getting used to them. That's not to say that if I had my time over, I wouldn't bother with the cat delete and just go with these Norman Hydes, because I think they're just perfectly good enough with the cat in place. I think they would have sounded really nice as well. I think on a long journey, that exhaust might get just a tad annoying. You can wear earplugs, there's plenty of them about out there. They're only a couple of quid a pair. And when you're cruising along like this, I mean, we're doing close to 50 miles an hour, 2,000 revs, you can barely hear it, you know, it's just bumbling along. And when you're at traffic lights, I mean, if I just cut the exhaust there, we're just idling along now, you can't hear that exhaust, so it's not the end of the world, it's not extreme, it's just when you do this, it sounds very much like a Harley. I gotta say, I love that. So getting back to the whole question of whether you should bother doing these kind of mods, as I said, it's subjective. It's your bike, it's your choice, it's your money. If you want to do it, go for it. But I would suggest you take a look at Tech Bike Parts website. All the links are going to be in the description for all the parts we fitted. And also check out Norman Hyde, because you don't have to spend £500 on an exhaust system. I think I've just proved that. And you certainly don't have to spend over the top on Triumph parts as well. I mean, those indicators down there, these bar end mirrors, were a fraction of the cost of Triumph branded things. But we're going to jump off in a second. I'll, as I said, quickly show you around, and then we'll chat a little bit more, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So there it is, guys. All the mods have been done, as I said, and we're pretty much ready to go. There's a couple of things that I'm still not 100% happy with, which I'm still going to have to touch in at some point. I want to get a little bit wet and dry and just do these little fins here. All you got to do is literally blap a little bit of wet and dry across there. That'll come up like new again. And where I sprayed the clamps and the link pipe down there's just a little bit of chipping from where I fitted the exhaust, which is a little bit annoying, but considering that the exhaust went straight on and it doesn't blow, and it was a bit of a faff, it has to be said. I'm hoping you've seen the video for the exhaust fitting, because it was, as I said, a little bit of a faff, but we got it on there, and I think you'll agree it sounds bloody awesome. There's a couple of other things we've done as well, as I'm sure you can probably see if you saw any of the other videos, quite frankly. The tail tidy, piece of cake. I mean, it literally took, what, 20 minutes? The indicators, they are just stunning. I love those indicators. And again, as I mentioned when I fitted these, if you buy the Triumph branded ones, you will be paying a fortune compared to what these Tech Bike Parts anodized metal indicators are. They are just quality throughout, and they look absolutely stunning on the front as well. I think you'll agree. I did think about taking off these little reflectors here. I did that on my first T120 because I didn't like them. Haven't gotten around to it, but today I've been basically just cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. We also fitted these bar end mirrors again from Tech Bike Parts. I think you'll agree they look pretty stunning as well, and you do see a fair amount through those. They're not going to be just looking at your elbows. They are fully adjustable, of course, and I think they set the bike off really, really nicely. I did consider getting the Union Jack cover for the brake master cylinder up here. It's a little bit cheesy, I guess. I don't know. I also picked up this screen here for about 25 quid off eBay, which again, I think you'll agree, looks pretty tasty on there. I mean, it's a tinted screen. It just bolts straight into the side of the headlamp here. It gives you a tiny little bit of wind protection, to be honest. I mean, it's not going to be much good on a motorway or anything like that, but I think it sets the bike off nicely as well. I put a new timing cover on as well. I think you'll see that there. And these are one of these each side as well. There was a bit of a faffery buying that off eBay. The guys were going to send me a nearly new one, and they sent me one that was absolutely battered, so I sent that back. And as a gesture of goodwill, they gave me this cover here for £25, considering the one I ordered was £85. I think you'll agree that's a pretty good deal for me there. It looks almost new compared to how the bad one was. I mean, I'll put a picture up here of how bad the cover that I took off was. I think you'll agree that's pretty good. Again, a little bit of touch-up work needed just on that little bit of black there. And there's the new shocks as well. Again, I'm sure you've seen the first couple of videos on this. They just look pretty stunning, don't they? I also put in the booster plug. I have absolutely no idea if it's made any difference to the bike, if I'm honest, but I put it on there because I wanted to try it, see what it was all about, and it's fitted. As I said, I just don't know. I can't give you any advice on that because I don't know how much better it's running on 1 miles per gallon, if it's any quicker, any of that kind of stuff. I didn't really do it for that. I did it because, everybody else has done it. But that is it. That is the T120 Black 2017, 21,000 and a bit miles, and that's what we've done to it. Hopefully I'll get a picture here and I'll cut one right down the middle of how it looked and how it looks now. As I said, I have been cleaning all day, and all day for about an hour to be fair, and I think you'll agree it looks pretty bloody stunning compared to what it looked like when it arrived. It was looking a bit sorry for itself, unloved cosmetically, but beautifully loved mechanically, because as I said, one of the reasons I bought this was purely because it was such a ridiculously cheap price and it had an impeccable service history, and it still got that. Of course, it was serviced about 3 months ago. The only other thing on here to mention really, I suppose, is just that little bit of a scuff down there. I was going to replace that clutch cover. I'm not going to, because I just don't think it warrants it. I don't think it's that bad a scratch on there that it really matters that much. But I think you'll agree this bike is turned out beautifully. I really, really like the look of that. I love the sound of the T120 Black. I love the look of it. I love the whole kind of history of Triumph Bonnevilles. You can't go wrong with this. Price-wise, so the final reveal. What did I pay for this? Because I don't think I've ever actually mentioned what I got this bike in for. Believe it or not, I managed to get this. Bear in mind, it's a 2017 and it's done 21,000 and a bit miles, and it was a little bit bruised cosmetically, but had a great service history. I managed to pick up this bike for £4,800. Yep, that's right, £4,800. I think you've got to agree that was worth the gamble, wasn't it, really? I did my usual, ask for a million videos and a million pictures, and I studied it. I checked the guy's profile on Facebook, all these kind of things that I do to make sure it's not a scam. £4,800, and I think you'll agree that is stunning value for one of these. Bear in mind they go for £7,000 plus. Now that's not the end of the story, of course. I had to get it delivered, so that takes it to £5,000. I had to get a new timing cover, I had to get a tail tidy, exhaust, the X-pipe. I got the Tech Bike Parts bundle as well, the bar and mirrors, the screen, the booster plug, the list just goes on. So I would think it probably owes about another £800 to £1,000 on top of that with all the bits that I've done. If you wanted to buy this bike, if you'd have got this bike for £4,800 to get it to this state now, you'd be looking around about £6,000, which again, I think you'll agree is stunning value, because these go for £7,000 plus. I'm not going to ask that. You know, I'm not going to be greedy. I've done well out of this. I'm probably going to put it up for £6,500 and sell it quickly, or I'm just going to keep it because, quite frankly, I think it's a stunning bike and I've got no problem with it. So why would I sell it cheap? I have actually got somebody very interested in this already who's bought one of my bikes previously, a friend of mine on Facebook. I hope you're watching, Lee, and maybe he's going to take it. In fact, by the time this video comes out, he may be the new owner. You never know. I'm not going to put it on Instagram for sale. I'm not even going to put it up for sale till I've spoken to my potential buyer. I just need to do a couple of tiny more little bits just to touch it up, and then basically I'm going to get hold of my mate Lee and just see if he wants to buy it. Again, I think you'll agree £4,800 for this bike is a bloody bargain, and even if you take into account the other money that I spent getting it here and doing all this stuff, it owes about £6,000. Stunning, stunning, stunning value. You can't pick these up for less than 7 normally, but because of the mileage, because you don't often see them with anything much above 10 to 15,000 miles, because of the mileage, I'm only going to ask £6,500. I think that's fair, because for around about 7,250, you can get one with, say, half the miles. So, you know, I'm being honest and I'm being fair, and it's got a lot of mods, and I think somebody's going to be loving this bike. Anyway, that is it, guys. I'm going to jump on and have another little ride. I might chime in again with the camera, you never know. But for now, this is it. This is the T120 Black with all the modifications, all done and dusted, price reveal, and a quick ride along video. I hope you have enjoyed this series as much as I have. It's been a real pleasure to do this bike, I have to say. Every time I look at it, it just kind of makes me grin, which I think you need from a motorcycle. If your motorcycle doesn't make you smile when you look back at it, buy another motorcycle. That's my advice. Anyway, that is it. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Give the video a like, a thumbs up, a share, all that good stuff. Don't forget Instagram as well. We did have a lot of pictures and a couple of videos on this on Instagram prior to any of these videos coming out. So if you follow me on Instagram, you do get sneak peeks, and Facebook as well. There's always sneak peeks on there as well. It's just Budget Cars and Bikes on Facebook and Budget Cars and Bikes on Instagram. The links are in the banner photograph for the YouTube site anyway, so just look above. Any questions, any comments, stick it below as usual. As I said, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that, and we will catch up again on the next project. But so far, so good. I'm loving this bike. I've always loved this bike, if I'm honest, and this one has been a joy to work on. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the series, and we'll catch up again soon. Take care now.